What is up, awesome people? I'm excited today because we have a very special guest that we are interviewing today. We have the one and only podcast ninja, Andrew from Ninjas Are Butterflies.
What up, guys?
Awesome, man. Well, thank you for coming along, man. I appreciate you. For the 5 people that don't know you, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, so I my background music, as far as music goes, I was a homeschool kid. I always had a guitar, so been playing music my whole life. Have a background in ministry. Played in youth band and church band, and pretty much everywhere on stage. And because instruments were made available, I kind of learned to tinker around with a little bit of everything. Guitar's a primary, and just creative outlet. Started video editing. Next thing you know, I'm working for Sunday Cool, and we started a podcast, and it's come full circle. I'm now doing music on the show, so not really the path most people take, but here we are.
Dude, that's pretty awesome. How, like, they found out that you played guitar, or did you just bring a guitar one day? How did it all start out?
I think every guy doesn't want to be the guy at the campfire who's like, "Hey, I have a guitar," but I mean, that's how we are. Unapologetically, I guess. I'm the guy who's like, "Hey, I play." And so I showed up. I think within the first couple of weeks, I brought my whole pedal board and amp in. I was like, "Let's do something." And they were like, "Maybe." And little by little, I interjected some of the stuff into some of the skits. And no, the guys were cool. It's fun. We play around with music from the get go.
It's cool, but like, did they realize how great of a guitarist you were? Like, there's a campfire guys.
Oh, what a question. That would imply that I am accepting that I am a great guitarist. I don't think I can do that, but they knew I could play from the get go. Yeah, great guitarist. I don't know if I can accept that one.
I mean, it's true. You're humble. That's all it is.
Well, I appreciate the kindness.
Yeah, absolutely, man. So, with you being a musician, you do play guitar, you do play piano, ukulele. Is there any other?
Drums is my favorite. Drums is my absolute favorite to play. And I'm not being humble. I play in the key of C. If you listen to every Ninja song I play piano on, we are either in the key of G or the key of C, because my brain can't handle more than a single black key. So to call myself a piano player is an insult to piano players. But again, you could walk over to the keyboard at church and fiddle around with all the white keys and, playing worship or emo or pop punk. Those major chord progressions are easy enough. So I tinker around on the keys, but drums is my favorite, probably my favorite instrument to play. I'm best at guitar, but there's just an emotional outlet when you get to wail on electric drum sets are great, but when you get to wail on an acoustic drum set in an empty room and just go at it, it's freaking awesome.
No, that is awesome. Even if you can't keep a beat or anything, it just works out. You get to take some frustration out, and
yeah,
this is great stuff.
Therapy for sure. Yeah.
So is the drums? Do you not get to play as much nowadays? Because I see your brother's playing drums for you guys, or for some videos, right?
Yeah. I brought him every now and then. So he has an electric kit. He's a Fortnite streamer at Saludez FN, SALOODZ. Shout out. But he's incorporated playing drums. He'll get frustrated in the game and he'll run to the drum set in the background and just whatever's playing, he'll just go overkill with it and have fun. But when he got that drum set, we grew up playing music together. I played guitar. My parents bought me a drum set, and then I remember I had one of those level 2 beginner DVDs where you're just learning boom chick beats. And I think I was 12, which would have made him, I was 12 or 13, makes him 6 or 7. And so he just sat down on that thing and literally and was locked in. So we're all right, you're the drummer. And so we've been playing music ever since that little awesome bedroom jam sesh. We've been playing music together. Yeah, dude.
Now the only times you guys really get to play together is when he's doing some stuff for Ninjas.
Yeah, if you can even call it that. I'll send him the full project already finished, and I'm like, hey, just record 2 versions over this, and I'll stitch it together in post. And but yeah, he lives 6 hours away, so we don't play much music together anymore.
Yeah. No, it's not fun when you're not in the same room.
Yeah, oh, for sure. Even in the same room with yeah. Don't get me started on the lack of express. There's something cool about like the garage band era, or like having instruments in your house where you're just in a room, in a garage, whatever, and just going at it. And that was cool. We were homeschooled growing up, so the bond, not only as brothers but as musicians, to sit in a space and just kind of figure something out, it's pretty sick.
So do you guys have different brains? Because I know I talked to you about music before, and the lens that you kind of cycle everything through, is it, do you guys have the same thing or
Yeah.
what?
So he's an electrical engineer, like really good at math, very analytical kind of. I'm like, I can't speak for him, but I'm pretty sure the way his brain understands music is very like formulaic, but like in a dope way. Like he doesn't reduce music to formula. To him, it's like sequences and patterns, and like that's how he does stuff. And he's just younger. He's 6 years younger than me, and so he's. I remember I wanted to, like, when we would redo a worship song at church, I would want to slow down the bridge and go halftime, and he would want to like run on the hi hat and do like these like little Euro pop dance beats, and so we would like butt heads creatively there. But that's cool when you have different influences and inspirations. You get to play music with people who just they can still understand you, but different enough to make something unique on its own.
Yeah. So how do you filter the music if he does sequences and like just different formulas?
I mean, I think everyone filters music through their own experience, and that like his age, that's how he's doing a lot of that. You know, just a lot of the music that was trendy when he was coming up kind of lends itself to patterns like that, pattern recognition. I come from that era where like bands wouldn't even hold tempo, and like the breakdown show to show would be a completely different BPM, but it was all about feeling and going after it. So I wouldn't say mine is better, but the lens I look through is just the music I grew up with, and I don't know, music takes you somewhere. So any like I go from country to heavy to everything in between, and just depending on the day, you know, it depends on which I guess it's experiential. Is that the word? I'm looking at music through whatever experience I'm feeling, which is probably because I grew up in the emo era. So,
Yeah, no, it's
but yeah,
that's good. Have you guys ever thought about doing a heavier country song with a little bit of screamo in it?
I mean, so I'm a fan of Hardy. You know, if that ever comes about, if we do another episode with him and get him on, that'd be a perfect collaboration of genres. But we haven't done it yet. It's kind of hard because we record like acoustically on the show, so it's kind of hard to do something heavy when it's just either a guitar and nothing else in the
Yeah,
room.
which is pretty insane because if you see like posts and when it's actually released, how much you're adding to it is pretty awesome. Because it's not just, I'm
Yeah,
sure it's a fun time being in the room where it's just you on acoustic and those guys singing, and I see that you're joining them singing now, but you do a lot
a little bit.
afterwards too.
Yeah, I need what I someone who watches this show who has a better background in like audio mixing. Like I need somebody to. I don't even know what program people are using these days to mix music, but I'm literally just using GarageBand and like native stuff. The last one of the last songs that I forget which one it was, but I didn't have a bass or my MIDI with me, so I just recorded my acoustic and then took all the highs out of it and ran a 12-step octave drop on it. So I ran my acoustic guitar an octave down and tried to take out all the
Oh,
grit to make it sound like a bass. Because we recorded, my guitar wasn't in tune. It was just in tune to itself, but I couldn't even use like, you know, the keyboard or what's native in
mhm.
GarageBand was like just slightly sharp compared to where I was. I was like, oh no, this is not going to work.
Oh man, but it still turns out well. Like you didn't have to scratch the whole thing, right?
Yeah, it's the benefit of comedy too. We're not being judged on, you know, how good is the track. We're just, if the joke lands, the joke lands, and so that's really, I think it's a cheat code for putting as much music out as we do.
So what do you think of the new AI stuff in music? Because there's a lot coming out with AI in music. What do you think?
That is the question So I don't know if it's a secret from your audience, but you sent me a list of questions
Mm-hmm.
beforehand, and that's the question I was most excited to engage with. Because here's my take on AI. We use AI. I sent you that produced version of the
Mm-hmm.
song that we did with Hardy, and I mean, it sounds pretty daggum remarkable. And my pushback to anyone who has a problem with the use of AI in music, there is a difference between using AI as a tool to become more efficient at something. There's a difference between that and just using AI to do all the work. And so, for instance, we wrote the song. We wrote the melody, I wrote the instrumentation. I had built a version that was just very poorly produced. And so, I mean, other than like the original like live recording bands, like that's one of the things I respect about Foo Fighters is they'll like literally record the tape and like no click and just crush it. That's music. But if for all this cookie cutter stuff in between AI and that, I mean, it's basically the same thing. You know what I mean? It's like a mediocre song gets sent off to a producer who has been doing it his whole life and then compresses the entire thing, adds a few basic sounds just different enough to call it a new song. And then, you pay the producer, you get your EP, and then now you have this product. And so all AI can be a tool that speeds up that process. It makes production available to people like me. Will it ever replace a real producer making real creative decisions, really trying to innovate or express? No. But for like, if you're recording music for a podcast, run it. You know what I mean? But I don't think AI will ever like you hear a song and it's AI. Like I don't think it's going to replace feeling, and maybe it'll get there one day, but I don't think it's there now. So I'm all for it being used as a
Mm-hmm.
tool to be efficient. But if we're trying to replace musicianship, and then yeah, throw it out. But that's kind of where I stand on it. I don't know if that makes sense.
No, it definitely does, and it's cool to see like your view take being a musician that's been in it for a while and doing all the editing and stuff. Because if you look at someone like Rogan, I don't know if he plays anything or anything like that, but if you see like his newer episode, he's freaking out over these like newer AI songs, and like they're so good, and they are so good, but I feel like they're still missing something.
1,000%. But and so it's the truth. But kind of like the way that everything's produced, everything's supposed to sit in these like little compressed frequency pockets, right? And even guitar tone, like I play live a very like scooped EQ on my guitar. So I like a lot of bright jangly tone, like very Fender heavy. And then because I come from like the metal era, I like to feel the low end like chugging through the guitar. Even in like a church setting, like if we're playing in the key of C, I'm gonna leave my ring finger up on the G and almost just get a beefy low end. But what I've noticed is like it's possible, but that chord like never translates recording it like it does in the room. Like if I sit in front of my amp, 112, 4 watts, I have a modded AC4, and it's got a speaker for metal, a carving speaker, like big magnet, and it like really punches through. I sit in front of that and it has feeling.
Mm.
And like how AI, you can't feel the music. And I would say even in modern the way that not all, but a lot of music is mixed, it's mixed to all sound the same. And so that feeling, even if it's real people in a real studio, real production, they're compressing all of the feeling out of it anyways. And so I think the industry has already deleted feeling and then AI just made it faster.
Yeah, I think it's true.
I could be wrong.
I don't think so. I mean, like you said, it could sound good to someone that doesn't have an ear for music, or even like him, he has an ear for music that he can enjoy and just admire great music. But to maybe he doesn't know what all goes in behind it, that feel and everything like that.
Yeah.
And that's something that hopefully we never lose. Like, hopefully anything nowadays, if you look at it, it goes back to like whatever the old is. You look at vinyl records, people love vinyl records. They like taking, you being a photographer, they love using film. It hasn't gone away.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it might have disappeared for a minute, but nothing too crazy.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just a young old school analog guy. Like I hate plugging straight in. I want to run an amp. For better, for worse, I'd rather some buzzing in the line than going completely digital. But I'm sure there's someone in like who actually produces music and is like, well, the reason your guitar has no feeling when you record it is because you're in GarageBand. So like, I'm sure there's somebody who knows how to actually capture what it is. But you know, those old recordings, when you know that it's recorded live, there's just something about hearing the strings jangle or buzz, or maybe the guitar's rushing or lagging just a little bit. There's just a little bit of like authenticity that you feel. So all those old blues guitar solos, half the time those bends don't make sense, or they're hanging out too long, and AI would be like, this isn't mathing. It'll be like, but it feels good, so we're gonna keep with it.
That's awesome. So we need to convince Josh to get you a tape recorder, an actual tape to tape reel in the studio.
We're gonna the whole podcast we're gonna film with Super 8 cameras.
My gosh, I can't imagine how long it'd be, like 1 week to just to get the music out.
Yeah.
So with being a musician and stuff like that, have you ever had any hardships or anything like that? Like, you've been in the church world. I don't know if you played outside of the church, like any gigs or anything like that, but have you ever had any heartache or hardships that you had to overcome?
I mean, I grew up playing emo music, so everything was based on a heartache. How authentic I guess they were authentic heartaches, but 13 to 17 years old playing emo screamo music, that is what it is. I don't know that as far as music goes, that was more about life, but heartache and music, I don't know that I would say there's been any heartache specifically affiliated to the music itself.
You didn't have any Brand New and like Taking Back Sunday type stuff? I think that was the band. They had the big battle between each other where like one guy dated another guy's girl, and then they split up and made two different bands. Like, the original guitar player from Brand New was in Taking Back Sunday, I believe. I could be wrong.
I got you. Yeah, I think my high school band was like a bunch of dudes from church, and then we all knew we were either doing it or we were doing something else. And if you can't get big enough to like headline a local show, with a couple years of being a band, you're probably not going to make it elsewhere. And so we never had the issue of fighting with each other to go and try to do the music thing, because we all kind of knew we were going to do something else. It was just fun on the weekends to play the occasional show.
Dude, that's awesome. I encourage you to go back and listen to. Have you, like, being in your 30s now, have you gone back and listened to all? I'm sure you still listen to it daily. Just the music we used to listen to, like the early Brand New stuff.
Dude, there's even new stuff that sounds like the old stuff, and it's sick. It's making a resurgence right now. I don't know if you know the band Slow Joy.
Yes.
Dude, so sick. And I found that dude on TikTok, and like, I didn't find him, but like he came into my world on TikTok where his following wasn't super huge, and I kept up with him, and next thing you know, he's doing like pretty major YouTube channel, like live shows. Like I think Walrus Audio did a thing with him. But that's, speaking of finding tone and being like, this is authentic. He wasn't a technical guitar player. He was just chugging through, and I was like, the tone is perfect. So I hung out.
Dude, it's crazy. I don't know if you know that guy's story. He was in marketing before he started the band, and he
No
just
way.
yeah. So he connected. He wanted to make a following that he like you guys do, like reach out to the fans and stuff like that. And while he was starting, he was asking the fans like, "Hey, what do you want to see?" So if you find him on TikTok, he's in like a library, just like, "Hey, what are you doing here?" And then you see him like do the breakdown and stuff like that. So
Yeah,
he
yeah, yeah, yeah.
he's pretty cool. And yeah, the deep tracks, Wallace Audio deep tracks. He did an
Is that what it
interview with
was?
him,
Okay.
and you can hear all behind like what he does, just in the marketing sense. And like he never wants to get big enough to where he can't go to the fans and stuff like that.
That's
So
super sick.
yeah.
I'll put, dude. Speaking of tone, I'm gonna shout out a homie,
Mm-hmm.
Dave Dave Denton, out of
Okay.
Alabama, in Seafoam guitar pedals. That
Okay.
dude builds his own pedals, and I don't even know how. It's just like one of the best transparent drives I've ever
Huh.
played through.
Okay.
But if you're looking for pedals, check that dude out. He built the tap tempo for me, but I grew up stomp boxes. And
Mm-hmm.
so you're like smashing delays and like, my church was a smaller church, so we weren't on click. And so you were like I run dotted eighths all the time. And to tap that in with a drummer who, may or may not go up and down anywhere from 5 to 10 BPM, you're doing a lot of tapping. And I would just like
Hmm.
kill DL4s. Like I went through three. And so I was like, all right, this is a problem. I switched to the DD500 and I had him
Hmm.
build me a tap tempo, but I also run a DD7. And so I was like,
Okay.
how can I send one tap to both pedals? And he's like, I'll build
Hmm.
one. And then he took a switch literally from a tank, like a military tank, like dust proof switch that you can like hit with the sledgehammer and won't kill it.
Oh,
And everything else on my board is like grimy and needs to be rewired. That pedal is
nothing
still there.
wrong with it. Oh, dude,
Yeah,
that's awesome.
I haven't talked to Dave in years. I don't even know if he's still cranking pedals out, but
Well,
that
hopefully
dude,
we
that
can.
dude rips. Yeah.
So, what would you compare one of his drives to? Is it just
It's got more bite than like I had a soul food on my board, which was really good and like fit like a telly or a Fender like really well. But his just had like a little more saturation. So um I like the Boss Blues Driver is one of the best like cheap pedals, but that one's kind of like gritty. His is like a little more compressed. But like especially for like church or country or that sort of stuff, or even just like clean rock, like play that through like a Fender DeVille or something like that. It's money.
dude? That's awesome. So you should check him out. We'll definitely check him out and
He's
see.
gonna hit me up like, dude, I haven't heard from you in 10 years. Why are you shouting out my
Yeah.
company
Well,
that doesn't exist anymore? Or he's killing it. He's like in Guitar Center, and I have no idea.
oh man, you'll be like, hey, I know that pedal. Oh no, that's awesome. Your job is being a creative, like not just in the music side of it, but you're an editor. You are on the podcast. You are bringing stuff. You. I'm sure you guys have brain storming sessions to be creative. How does that affect your music? Does it? What does it do?
So I'm honored that you think we do a ton of planning and a ton of brainstorming. We have literally been about to film a pod, and then Josh is like, looks at location. He's like, oh crap, Lily's going to be here in 8 minutes. We don't have a song yet. And so we're like, all right. And literally, I'll just grab the guitar, and Andy and Josh will like start humming something. And sometimes I'll take something from like stuff I've written before, or sometimes it's literally just like, hey, we're just going to rip some chords and find something in 5 minutes. But I think, yeah, I don't know how to. I kind of forget your initial question, so throw it back at me one more time.
oh, you're good. It's just like having a creative job. Does that leave
Yeah,
you much time for? Do you have your music? Do you
dude.
play outside of work?
Nope.
uh,
I don't. I mean, like even right now, dude. My dog woke me up at like 6 a.m. and we're between. We have editors who help us with our short form, and one of them stepped away. He's got another project he wanted to start working on, and we're between hiring another guy. And so me and Andy have had to fill in the space. And so today was just literally from the moment I was in work until I was on the way home. Just, I mean, there's working on a video, and then there's like the pace that we have to create at. It really feels like you're doing a week's worth of creating just within a single workday. And so when I get home, pretty rare that I pick up a guitar. I don't know if that's great. It's probably not what you're supposed to say on. I should have said something like music is my outlet, and I sing to the stars while petting my dog on the back porch. But the reality is, creatively, sometimes I think the best way to answer that question, I don't take it home with me a lot, but it's super cool that at work there is a different type of creativity that I get to, participate in, and like I get to bring my music into my work. So it's all part of the same work day. That's always cool. When I get to Josh and Andy are trying to find something and I get to like hum a little bit or like do like a little bit of an emo chord progression or melody, and that's fun to bring it back to where I come from.
Yeah.
But yeah.
For sure. And you answered your own question, because you're not a creative in this way all the time as a musician. Is still in you, but you have an outlet. You are created by a God that is creative. You can't not be creative if that's
Sure.
through your work, your music, even in your hunting and stuff like that, fishing, everything. You're going to be creative. I mean, think of like how you are hunting, a buck or a doe. You can't just go out there and be like, okay, I'm just going to shoot. You have to like draw it in. You have to use your mind as a creative to be like, okay, this is what I got to do. So
yeah, imagining the hypothetical and doing what you can to see it come to fruition. So yeah, it's a creative process for sure.
Yeah, and I don't think it ever leaves you, because I mean, a musician, you're always going to hear something different. You're going to hear a song and you're going to pick up something like nothing. And it's always going to be a part of you, no matter what. Even if you put the guitar down for 10 years and you're like, I'm done. You can't, I don't think you can walk away from it.
No. And I mean, I love music. I always do. But yeah, we got a small house. The dream house one day will have a drum set in the corner and guitars not in cases. They'll be prominently displayed with the rig always set up.
Hey man, it's coming. I had this set up for guitars and stuff like that, but if we have another kid, it's gone.
Yeah, I'm not gonna turn this laptop around. That's all boxes. My son gets here in February, and so it's all the crib, the strollers, and the like. Literally, my feet, like the ground is covered with crap right now. Like literally, my bow is just on the ground. But yeah, we're making room for more important things.
You guys ready? Has it hit you yet that you're having a kid?
It's very real. What this ties back to the actual topic of our podcast, but we read a thing that says like you can actually, like they say like babies listening to classical music or whatever can like help them develop or help cognitive function and stuff like that. Well, they're starting to say now that even the mother singing to the baby in womb can do the same thing, like start to develop that sort of stuff. And my wife doesn't sing anywhere, but was like trained by like a Broadway instructor. Like my wife has pipes, like she can sing, and so she's walking around the house and she'll sing to Noah. So that's pretty cool. We're already doing what we can to raise a little musician, so it's pretty sick. I'm stoked.
Dude, that's awesome. I mean, if both of you guys have it, my wife does not sing at all, so it's crazy that my son is picking up guitars and wanting to play and just beating on every instrument in the house. So wow. That's cool. You guys have it made. Like he'll come out and just be wanting to sing or play music or
watch
something.
My dad can't clap in time, so watch that be the gene that he's got.
Hey, you don't need to sing or be able to sing to or clap to be able to sing. Yeah.
Yeah.
But dude, that's crazy. Speaking about kids and up and coming musicians, what would you when you first started, what advice did you wish someone gave you being a musician, singer,
Yeah.
creative?
That's second favorite question you sent me. I this is not gonna sound awesome, but I was like such a student of getting better. Like I practiced hard, and like all middle school, I just was like a guitar nerd. I wanted to play faster, and it was very like pop punk era. So I was like chopping around little like pentatonic and major scale riffs. And my guitar teacher into high school was Shane Gibson, who played with Korn. He's a Berkeley music school graduate. Um, he's passed away now, but he was just an amazing, amazing dude. Anyway, so I was very focused at becoming better as a guitar player, and I thought like, I thought that's how you did it. You get the resume, you get good at guitar, and then people hire you for guitar. Your band makes it. But the reality is, like the band that you and I just talked about uh, had nothing to do with musical ability. It had everything to do with marketing and feeling. And so my advice for the next generation is be good enough to have a thing. Like you need to be different in some way. I think Slow Joy's thing is his tone is impeccable, his melodies are catchy, and he just communicates a feeling that whether you can say why or not, it hits. So that's his thing. And then he got good at marketing and networking. And so I think if you're a musician who wants to make it, you can't you can't be the weird kid who just plays guitar and hides in a room. Like you've got to learn to talk to people. You got to learn to network. You got to be willing to put yourself out there beyond like I'm on stage. I was very like in my bubble with my guitar, but there's a thing that needs to happen where you're comfortable expressing yourself. And you know that's like it's like a I don't want to call it gross, but like to network and to market is a part of the game. Now, if you're just into music because music means something to you, I think that's beautiful and I think that's awesome. But if you want to make it in the industry, I mean, you really got to know people and know how to get to know people and put yourself out there.
No, that's really good. And you're coming from the side of it that, I mean, when you started at Ninjas, were you there at ground level or did you come in a little after?
So I came in at Sunday Cool. Ninjas didn't exist, so we were just making content for like the TJWs. Thank God it's Wednesdays. They were just like these church supplemental videos, and so I just came in as a video editor. I started editing during the pandemic, and then church and music go hand in hand, so it became pretty quick and easy to, if we did a video called "Worship Leaders Be Like." And so we were just spoofing things like worship leaders say. Like we have Josh or Andy wrote a joke about like the Holy Spirit and being like lift your hands up, and like that's how you get chills. And so if you lift your hands, you control the Holy Spirit. But like just when you're adjacent to like the church world and music specifically, I was able to like not I wasn't doing any writing, but in the edit, or if I could throw a line out there or have an idea around the church side of uh or the musical side of church, I was able to interject. I don't know if that answers your question, but that was kind of my role as the editor, videographer, and you know, throwing in a joke here or there.
Yeah, and I think too, like you were talking about how like people have to put themselves out there and not just be the little weird kid in the corner playing music. You have seen the transformation from the beginning of Ninjas to where like I don't realize how many people realize how much work you guys put in. And just you were talking about shorts and how much time you put in just a short. It blew my mind when I first found out all that, and just you stayed on top of it and you kept going and you didn't stop at all. You guys kept pursuing and persisting through everything. And I think that can tie in with the musician world because you got to work hard.
I mean, yeah, I mean, That's the thing too. It's not like you can't just be good at marketing and terrible at music. Like that doesn't work either. you know, so you gotta put in the time enough to have a thing that you like and that people will like, and then once you know you have a thing, run with it.
That's good. Would you tell yourself as a up and coming musician and artist anything to do differently?
Um, the world is bigger than your town. That's what I. It's hard to imagine. I was very like I didn't want to leave my hometown, and it's hard to imagine. So, you know, it goes both ways. You can play a show, and your band's the band that killed it. Five bands, and your band was the one that got the crowd going. You can feel like a rock star. But I mean, those are people you go to school with. Like that's not everything. And on the same note, you could be the worst band, and no one wants you to play your fourth song. Same thing. The next town might love you. So the world's bigger. Find your people and take criticism as feedback and listen and be smart enough to and sure enough in yourself to know when you need to listen and when you need to press on.
Yeah. Is there anything that you would want to talk about to musicians, artists, music lovers, anyone?
Anything I would want to say? Yeah, if that band that you love to hate, stop. like, um, so I grew up in the era when it was like super cool to hate on Nickelback, and now it's cool to be like you're an idiot for hating on Nickelback. But like, really, like the more I think about it, it's like, I mean, that stuff wasn't as bad as I pretended it was. And same thing on like the pop side of things. I was such like a punk for life, and then it went to only heavy music, and then you realize like the industry is just a web of people who work together. And so like if you want to crash and burn, hate everything that isn't like you. But if you want to, I don't know, if you like something, just run with it. You know, I'm pretty sure they're doing financially all right. So, you know,
And that's what I heard when like the older Coldplay. When I started listening to them, they're like, "You listen to Coldplay?" It's like
yeah.
they revolutionized a couple things, like a lot, even in the church world. Like
Oh
I
yeah.
had a friend of a friend talked to Chris from Coldplay, and he was like, "Hey man, we just want to thank you so much for doing the delays and everything you do in your song because it really impacts the church world." And he was like, "Oh, I got to change my style now," like joking around, like it's like
Yeah.
man, but it does carry over. So I mean,
Thousand
there's
percent.
probably
You too
mm,
into Coldplay. Have you heard of an Australian band called Sly Withers? Have I sent them to you?
mm-mm,
So they did oh, what's the BBC radio thing where they do
mm.
covers? Um
I don't think I've seen that in a while. If I
anyway,
have,
anyways, it's pretty epic. Sly Withers, they're like an alternative kind of pop. Pop is the wrong word. It's kind of like indie alternative, kind of emo, kind of punk, just edgy Australia. you know, surf hipsters with roots in the 90s and early 2000s. I don't know how else to put it, but they got invited to do this thing. It's like, who you got on a cover? And they were like, let's do The Scientist. And so they cover that song, but it's like, why'd you pick that one? They're like, well, because everyone hates on them. And they're like, the song is actually like sick. So they did it in their way, but what I love is they didn't really change it like a ton. They just like did it with their guitars and like with raw drums that played a little more aggressively. So I would compare it like if you liked a song on the radio and then you went and saw the band and you were like, oh, this version's sick. Like that happened a lot because these indie emo bands would get picked up by a label and the label would turn it into like pop punk, like stuff like that. Like even like Reliant K, like their albums were like no screaming, or if it was there, you were like, is it there? But then you go see them live and they're like screaming their heads off, like very much like screamo on some songs. But like I think that cover of Sly Withers sounds almost like if Coldplay did have emo roots, like what the song may have originally been written like. Now it wasn't, but like it's very believable, like a very believable version of the song.
Huh. No, I
Yeah.
have to check them out. I don't. If you have told me about them, I haven't. I haven't gone to look at them, but no, I'll definitely take a look. There's another one I gotta send you. You ever heard it? This, they cover it. It's I forget who originally sings it, but it's Tom's Cafe.
I don't know.
It's that song that's like do 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 do
Yeah, yeah,
do.
yeah.
There's that one, and there's these guys from another country. Like the first guy is like really into it, and then the second guy kicks, and you're like mind blown by just his voice. And
Okay, I've seen
yes,
that clip. Yeah, yeah,
you've
yeah.
seen that where it's like they're
Mhm.
going through a different room and stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, that's just great stuff.
yeah. But like that's the thing, right? That whole video does what it does because the second guy, first guy kills it, but the second guy, his voice hits, and you're like, whoa, he has a thing. He has a thing. And then they run the video, and like the video combined with the thing, having your thing, knowing how to market yourself, like that's why it popped off.
Boom, and that's it. So that's what you gotta do, people.
Yeah.
Is just have your thing and
Yeah.
know how to market it and go from there.
Yeah. But that's such a mean thing to say. There's like some 16-year-old kid who's like, I have no idea who I am.
Mm,
Like, what do you mean? What's my thing? Figure it out. Switch up.
yeah.
You know? Like you said I alluded to what my favorite genre of music is, but like literally I'm listening to like where bro country meets alt rock.
Okay.
Like that's like my playlists
What
right now.
what is
And
that?
I say I mean Hardy, Lakeview, a lot of stuff like that. And a lot of people hate on that stuff, but like if you listen to it, I mean, when we had Hardy on our podcast, he and I like had we have like a bit running back and forth about Attack Attack. It's like those dudes grew up on the music that I grew up on. And, I live in Florida, in like a southern part of Florida, and so like it fits. And so 10 years ago, no one probably would have believed that country is what I drove around listening to. But I like it. Makes me feel good. And the guitar solo lives on in country music, so just run with it. If something makes you happy, like, we're talking about music here, not life choices, but if something makes you happy, run with it. There's no need to be like, but I'm the emo guy. I need to keep listening to angry music for the rest of my life. Nah, sometimes it's okay to just listen to country that is just telling a goofy story.
It's good. I think without music, we can't survive. There's been studies to show like you can take anything out of someone's workplace. They take small little things out, of, like a pencil or food or something, and when they took music out, people went crazy. So that says something.
I
I
believe it.
mean, if you look at our creator and how he does, so
Yep. Created to create. Have you talked about on here the translation or the potential understanding of the word when it says that he hovered over the waters in the creation of the world?
mm,
That word can mean vibrate.
okay.
And so if Tolkien really knew what he was talking about, in the Samarils, I think is where it is. I'm paraphrasing a lot of people to say
Mm,
this, so fact check me everywhere. but in Lord of the Rings, the universe was created into existence by singing it into
mm,
existence. But if the original word for hover can be vibrate, it's not a far off thought to think that like a vocalization vibrated over the
mm.
waters.
That's pretty cool.
So like our universe could have been created by
That's
music.
crazy. And
Fact fact check everything, and if you go to Bible college, do not DM me a bunch of hate.
hey, but I mean,
Feel free to DM me an explanation.
that's crazy. So, what do you guys have for? I guess for since this is a musician, do you have any exciting musical stuff coming to the future for ninjas or just new songs?
We well, we always do. You talked about in the beginning. I produce a bunch of do these little things and add all these extra layers to the music, and we just finished episode 169, and I'm actually pretty proud of that song we just recorded. And there's nothing extra on it. It's just guitar and 3 voices with some verb. That's it. But I was sitting there and I was like, I could add some drums and wash them out and kind of make them trashy and just make it sound like the room's big. I was like, but as I'm like listening through so I cut to Lily in the edit, and she does this thing where she's like listening and smiling, and then I cut back to her and she's just staring off in the corner, and it moved her to thought. And I think that was like the melody and the sound. And it's cool when music does that, when it like does something to your brain and you're just like instantly snapped into a different place. And so the song is about, as always with Ninjas, a dumb premise, but the Andy and Josh and me, like, we played with the melody. Andy wrote the lyrics and I wrote the guitar part, but it does something, and I'm like, this one's actually sick. We wrote some absolute garbage, but this one's pretty cool. Episode 169.
Oh man, dude! So that one's coming out Friday. Is that?
Yeah, this Friday. It's up on Patreon and YouTube members already. So I swear I'm not trying to plug everything.
I think this is like the only thing you plug besides like the people you wanted to shout out. So that's cool. So Andrew, I appreciate you coming on Rockin' Customs, and yeah, we definitely appreciate you. Do you want to plug your stuff in, Ninjas and?
Yeah, Ninjas or Butterflies, Spotify, YouTube, everywhere. Check out the podcast. We do a song every week. Episodes drop on Friday, 6 a.m. Spotify, they're a little sooner because their uploads are weird. So sometimes you get them a couple minutes earlier on Spotify. But make sure you watch the video. It's always fun. And thanks for having me on here, Shane. This has been fun.
Absolutely, man. And guys, hang out. We'll play one of the Ninja songs right after this.
Okay, so Shane wanted me to send over some music for you guys to listen to, and typically it's like a song that, the artist being interviewed performs or has performed, but I want to switch it up on you. If you go to episode 168 of Ninjas or Butterflies, you will see our episode with Hardy, and we do a song with him, recorded live, performed live, and then in post, I added a couple instruments, had my brother play some drums. But then after the fact, I took all of that instrumentation and then I produced it with AI and even had like an AI voice perform the song. So the song is written by me and the guys at Ninjas or Butterflies, and it's the song you're going to hear as performed and produced by AI. So curious what you guys think. Check it out here, and go check out the original episode 168, Ninjas or Butterflies.
An alien, I guess she's always been a little strange and green, been afraid to be seen. Then comes the CIA, they take her away, then start to question me about all the things that I've seen. Tell us the truth about your wife, or you'll go to prison for the rest